Can I say something that women over 50 desperately need to hear? Our bodies are not broken, but it has been through decades of stress, adaptation, hormonal change, survival, pressure, inflammation, emotional exhaustion, disrupted sleep, cortisol overload, unstable insulin, chronic hypervigilance, and years of being told to fix it all with another product. And deep down, we are all exhausted because no two doctors can agree. Female doctors don't even agree. And the doctor who is one of the experts out there who teaches about fasting for women, she's even changed her story over the last 2 months of what women should be fasting and who shouldn't be fasting and how long they should be fasting. And it's just confusing and chaotic. And we need to make it really simple. We have to take our we need to take our healing and our power back, ladies, because we wake up and our bodies feel unfamiliar. So you look in the mirror and then you see, well, something shifted, not just physically, but something deeper. And nobody is giving us a straight answer about why. So we all have gone looking, and everywhere we look right now, there's another supplement, another powder, another hormone product, another ad promising energy, weight loss, sleep, clarity, metabolism, focus, libido, collagen, cortisol balance, gut repair, inflammation support, and menopausal relief. Did I forget anything? And underneath those ads, thousands of women are commenting. Women who are not vain, not lazy, not weak, but exhausted and desperate to feel like themselves again. And I see you because I am you, but I want to tell you some truth today. But before we discuss what's actually happening during menopause, the information shared in this video is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any medical condition. So please consult your physician or qualified healthcare provider before you make any changes to your healthcare routine. Okay, now that that's out of the way, here's what nobody's stopping long enough to explain. You cannot talk about estrogen without progesterone. You cannot talk about cortisol without insulin. You cannot talk about sleep without stress. You cannot talk about metabolism without muscle mass. You cannot talk about inflammation without nervous system load. The female body is not a collection of separate systems. It is one deeply connected whole, and menopause is not just hot flashes. It's a full systemic transition. Estrogen, progesterone, insulin sensitivity all shift. Cortisol regulation shifts, sleep changes, inflammation changes, bone density changes, muscle mass changes, energy production changes, mood changes, stress resilient changes, and your whole internal landscape is reorganizing itself. And if you have also lived through prolonged stress, difficult relationships, betrayal, emotional chaos, or years of survival mode, that matters too. And sometimes I would even say it matters the most because the body responds to what it has lived through, not metaphorically, but physiologically. And this is why your body feels like it's changed overnight. And this is where women start feeling frightened because nobody explains how connected everything actually is. You start gaining weight around your midsection. I go through cycles. I will lose the weight in my midsection, and as soon as my sleep suffers or my stress elevates or I get exhausted, my cravings shift and my belly will come back. And our digestion changes, our brain fog thickens, right? And your energy crashes between the afternoon and you do not know why. And you think, what is wrong with me? But nothing is wrong with you, but something is happening and it deserves a real explanation. Energy does far more than manage reproduction. It regulates inflammation, gut function, brain function, metabolism, mood, sleep, stress resilience. So as estrogen declines during perimenopause and menopause, many women become more vulnerable to inflammation, metabolic shifts, digestive changes, cortisol dysregulation, and the changes in how the body stores fat. And cortisol matters deeply. It really matters. So when the body has been under prolonged stress for years, sleep suffers, insulin regulation suffers, inflammation increases, muscle mass decreases more easily, and fat storage patterns change. And many women begin storing more weight specifically around their abdomen. And that's not a willpower problem. That's a biology interacting with stress, aging, hormones, inflammation, sleep, movement, and nervous system load all at once. And this is the moment that women become most vulnerable to marketing, and they know it. Those people advertising to us know it. And we are the largest supplement and hormone replacement market for them, because when you are exhausted and inflamed and uncomfortable and desperate for relief, it is easy to believe that that one product is going to solve an entire systemic problem. But your body is integrated, which means it needs integrated support. And now, this is why the industry and all the ads are exploding, because the menopause industry is exploding because women are suffering, and suffering creates a huge market. We're like the biggest market out there right now. They are not dumb, and they know exactly how to market to us and what to say, because they know we're exhausted. They know we want our midsection to not carry the weight. They know we want better sleep. They know we want our hormones balanced. They know that we want to feel normal in this body again. And that does not mean that every product is bad. Some supplements genuinely support the body, and some women absolutely benefit from targeted nutrition or medical support. That is absolutely real. But women need to understand the difference between support and marketing, because a woman can spend thousands of dollars chasing symptom relief while never addressing chronic stress, sleep deprivation, inflammation, protein deficiency, muscle loss, blood sugar instability, nervous system dysregulation, emotional exhaustion, or unresolved survival patterns. And as a trauma coach, I think that's probably one of the most important things we can do is we can start to look at our survival patterns, stress, sleep, and how we feel every day emotionally. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that God says in his word that we are to never exalt any circumstance or anything above him, that we're supposed to renew and transform our minds. And it's what I believe in so much, because no product can override a body living in constant emergency mode. So women also need to understand bioavailability. Not everything swallowed is absorbed efficiently. Not every trending ingredient survives digestion effectively. And more supplements does not necessarily equal more healing. I think that's a huge thing that people need to understand. Just because you have a cabinet full of supplements doesn't mean that all of them are working or that your body is absorbing them. And without proper absorption, you just wasted a lot of money and you have really expensive pee. So what women over 50 actually need is less chaos, less fear-based marketing, less confusion, and more honest understanding of how the entire body works. And this is the part that nobody talks about. This is the part that so many people are skipping over, and I refuse to leave it out, because I know what I've gone through, and I know what so many women out there are dealing with. 1 in 3 women have experienced abuse or violence, and many more have spent decades inside emotional stress, hypervigilance, betrayal, instability, overfunctioning, fear, people-pleasing, emotional suppression, and survival mode. If you haven't watched my video from 2 or 3 weeks ago about their teaching men this and how it's hurting women, please go back and do it, because you need to understand the parts that you might even have suppressed. You might be a woman in your 50s and you might have suppressed what you don't even remember is actually causing a lot of your problems. And one of the things that I never even learned until recently was that if you were on birth control in your teens and your early 20s, it affected your nervous system and your amygdala in a major way. And all of what I'm sharing matters, because you cannot separate hormones from stress. You cannot separate inflammation from chronic hypervigilance. You cannot separate healing from the environment the body has been living inside of for years. So a woman whose nervous system has spent decades adapting to fear, instability, or emotional chaos will often experience this season of life differently than a woman whose body has consistently known safety, rest, nourishment, and peace. I don't even know what that's like. I don't know what it's like to have lived a decade of peace. I'm still in the first 4 years after my divorce, like I was just sharing in a video, and I'm constantly having to still deal with a body that wants to be hypervigilant because of all of the changes that I've experienced since leaving a 20-year marriage that was abusive. And that does not mean that any of us are powerless. It just means the body responds to conditions it lives inside of. And eventually, healing requires us to stop treating symptoms in isolation and start looking honestly at the whole picture. because you are not just hormonal, you are a whole person. Mind, body, soul, stress, sleep, movement, nutrition, relationships, inflammation, environment, history, and your nervous system. All of them are connected, all mattering, all worthy of honest support. So what you actually need is, for women over 50, we just need truth more than we need trends. You need stable blood sugar, movement that preserves muscle, protein your body can actually use, hydration, deep and restorative sleep, nervous system regulation, emotional safety, reduce chronic stress, boundaries that protect your peace, and relationships that do not cost you your health. Just sit with that for a minute. Relationships that don't cost you your health. And then you need sunlight, wisdom, discernment, consistency, and real education about how your body actually works in this season. Some women will also benefit from targeted supplementation or medical support. That is not a contradiction. But HRT is not the answer for everybody. And most women don't need to go through this stage of life with HRT. We can do it by doing the right things. So supplements should be a support to your healthy system. They cannot replace your lifestyle. They can't replace what you eat. They can't replace if you exercise. They can't replace what you think. The power of your mind is everything. That's the battlefield, is your mind. And you did not need, none of us, we do not need more manipulation. We don't need more shame. We don't need to be treated like a marketing demographic. We need honesty, and that's what we all deserve, because our body is not failing us. It has been carrying us for decades through things it was never designed to carry alone. And now it just needs support that is honest, integrated, sustainable, and rooted in truth. And one of the best things you can give your body is grace, speaking kindly to yourself. Do the inner work for healing deep-rooted trauma and childhood wounds. And if you want to incorporate fasting, which is the best free healer we all have, please don't push it and force it. Again, grace where you are and learn what works best for you, whether that's intermittent fasting, whether it's a weekly 24-hour fast or a monthly 36 to 48-hour fast. Go slow and be sure you're listening to your mind and body, because the worst thing you can do is tell the body it's in survival mode when it's already taxed from living in survival every single day. And if you're going to start a supplement routine, be sure you know enough about the company, the ingredients, and the absorption of them all. Stop wasting money trying everything. Supplements and natural methods need time to work. Switching things up before they had a chance to work can actually cause more issues, just like changing diets, what it does to your metabolism. So most high quality supplements need 90 days to really create change. So if you are giving something 90 days, that means your exercise, your sleep, your how you think every day, what you speak to yourself every day, doing the inner work, and then the supplements that you're using, you're not giving it a real chance, and you're causing more confusion in your body. So be wise and pray for discernment when listening to anyone who hasn't worked with women over 50, specifically for a good length of time. And if you know a woman over 50 who's exhausted and trying to understand this season too and doesn't want to be sold another product, but wants to be told the truth, could you send this to her? Because she does not need more fear. She doesn't need any more ads. She needs peace and understanding. So I would love it if you would subscribe for more conversations like this. God bless your healing. God bless your strength. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for being here today. And I hope that this gave you a little bit of clarity and broke through some of the confusion. You don't have to make this season complicated. And perimenopause and menopause do not have to be a season where we feel like we're at our end. It can actually feel like we're in a renewal. So I hope that that does that for you. And again, thanks for being here today.